Alright guys, I'm the NFL Addict, and today I will be making my record predictions for the 2021 Los Angeles Chargers. If you like these type of videos, I've still got the whole NFC to do, and I also have done all of these teams and the Chiefs. So like and subscribe if you are into this type of content. Alright, so the Chargers are a team that I feel will definitely have a much better offense than a defense. Really on the defense, all I've got is Joey Bosa, who was okay last year, and Derwin James, who again wasn't spectacular. On that offense, though, they've got Austin Eckler at freaking running back. They've got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and they've got the Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert, at quarterback, and then they've got a whole new coaching staff. So I think they definitely will be better. I'm thinking, at best maybe double-digit wins, but let's go ahead. I'm talking like maybe around 9-8 or 10-7. So not great because of that defense, but still pretty good. In week one, they've got a tough matchup against Washington. Washington's defense is amazing, and they completely redid that wide receiver core. I think if Washington's defense can stifle that Chargers offense, I don't know if that Chargers defense can do enough against Washington's offense. I'm gonna give Washington a win here. And then in week two, they have a home game against Dallas, who really don't have a they really don't have an offensive line, and that secondary they did add some players, but it's still not great. That whole defense needs work, and the Chargers are gonna take advantage of their pretty tough defense, and they're gonna get the win here. I'm gonna have them get beat by the Chiefs. It's not really that big of a surprise. The Chiefs are pretty good. In week four, they go up against the Raiders, and the Raiders are a team that they're not going to be great. They didn't do all that much. Alex Leatherwood, come on, man. So I'm probably going to have them split. I'm going to probably have the Chargers win in week 4 and Las Vegas get the win in week 18. So I'll get there when I get there, though. For all I know, I'll change my mind. In week 5, they have a pretty tough game against the Browns. That Browns offense is probably going to overpower that Chargers defense, not with much effort. And then that Cleveland defense, man. They added William Jackson, and then they have Myles Garrett, and that defense is going to be stellar. Not William Jackson, that's Washington. They added John Johnson, my bad. And Cleveland gets the win here. Now they have to go up against Baltimore. They have a tough stretch here these last 3 games. Baltimore, they added Sammy Watkins, a couple wide receiver in the draft. So I like what they're doing, and I'm going to have to give them the win here. Again, if a team has a really good offense and they have a pretty good chance against the Chargers, and they have a really good offense and a really good defense, they have a good chance against any team. I don't know what I'm saying. Now in week 7, they're 2-4. They have a tough game in week 8, but then after that, it's definitely the easier stretch of their season is after week 8. So their first half is pretty rough, but then after that, they can kind of start churning. In week 8, they have to have a home game against New England, and New England, that Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith is probably going to be one of the best tight end duos in the league next year. Nelson Aguilar, they have a really good offense, and that defense is pretty good. A slight decline last year, but still pretty good. And New England's going to get the win here in week 8, and they fall even further down to 2-5. The Eagles sold everybody in hopes to help Jalen Hurts. They're going to be pretty terrible next year. If Jalen Hurts doesn't work out, then the Eagles are going to be completely screwed. The Chargers get the win in week 9. Just trying to get back to .500 and start over. And then in week 10, they have a home game against Minnesota. And Minnesota, their defense was terrible last year. At the end of the season, they started to kind of pick things up, but not really. And it was mainly their offense that was kind of turning up. And they lost Kyle Rudolph. They do still have Justin Jefferson and a couple other good players. So this one could be pretty close. But I am going to have the Chargers get the win in week 10. All right, in week 11, they're going up against the Steelers, who I think are pretty underrated right now. I think that their defense is really good and their offense has a lot of potential, and I'm going to give Pittsburgh the win here. They're kind of a similar team to Washington, except for I like Pittsburgh's offense more than I like Washington. So the Pittsburgh Steelers get the win over the Chargers. I'm going to have them beat Denver here. Denver just really doesn't have an offense in that defense. That secondary is really good. But that's really all they've got. All right, now they go into Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a pretty bad offensive line. And if the Chargers had a really good defensive line, it could be a pretty good game for them. But I think it will be a pretty good game for the Chargers here. I mean, the Bengals really don't have that much of an offense, and I'm going to give the Chargers the win. I mean, as you can see, I don't think the Bengals are that great. Now they have a pretty tough game against the Giants. The Giants have a pretty good offense. Not offense, pretty good defense. That offense, though, mainly Daniel Jones isn't great. They did add Kenny Golladay. They did add Kyle Rudolph, and they already have one of the best running backs in the league. So this one's going to be pretty close, and if Daniel Jones can pick things up this year, this is definitely going to be a win for the Giants. But if Daniel Jones continues Daniel Jonesing everything, the Chargers are going to get the win here. I'm going to have Kansas City get the sweep. They're just probably the best team in the league at this moment. They fixed their really only problem, which was their offensive line with Orlando Brown and Joe Thuney. So, yes, so they had a winning record for a second here in Week 14. They were at 7-6, but then they dropped right back down to 7-7. So yeah, they're probably still in the playoff race, but looking at who is at 7th right now, it's going to be tough. The AFC is just stacked right now. And then they have to go into Houston, who again kind of got rid of everybody except for Deshaun Watson. And I mean, I'm sure if you pay any attention to the NFL, you know that he was on the trading block for a while. The Chargers are going to get the win here because the Texans don't have anybody to stop them. I'm going to give them the sweep against Denver, and I'm going to give them a split against Las Vegas. Now, let's head on the worst-case scenario before we go on the best-case scenario and off the video on a good note. All right, worst-case scenario. Worst-case scenario, so I'm just going to look at all these wins and determine. I think this one is definitely, these first three are probably going to be insta wins from them, in my opinion. Minnesota get the win, definitely, I feel. Once it's, come on, switch over. There we go. Denver could get the split, I think. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Come on. There we go. So Denver, they can split with Denver. The Giants can definitely win this one. But that is probably as far as I'm willing to push it down. Come on, flip back over. There we go. So that's about as far as I'm willing to push it is, 6-11. That's as bad as it gets. And again, this is not likely. This is not a few things that slip up. This is Justin Herbert completely, screws things up. Everything else goes. I'm not going to go through everything that could possibly go wrong for a team. There's tons and tons of things. The new coaching staff is terrible. All this kind of stuff. So I'm clicking on these, and it's taking them 9 hours to load. But there we go, back up 9-8. And now let's end off the video on a good note. All right, so they could definitely beat Washington. That one's going to be a pretty close one anyways. I could see them winning these two games right here against Baltimore and New England. This game, come on, flip, there we go. This game is definitely, they could possibly win this one, and they could sweep Las Vegas. And, it's going to be this is probably the biggest stretch, but they could split with Kansas City. If they start playing really well and they play up to their fullest potential and Kansas City has kind of an off game, I could see them splitting. Whether that's in this game or this game, we'll be glad to see. But when I have a team split, I always have the home team wins each one. All right. So now let's flip them all back. I think I had this one a loss, this one a loss, this one a loss, these two were losses, and this one was a loss. You get that right? Yes, I did. Thank you so much for watching this video. In my next video, I will be talking about the Denver Broncos, who I don't think are good at all. So if you're a Chargers fan and you hate the Broncos and you're mad at me for this, you'll be happy with me if you watch that Denver Broncos video, which you will know when it is posted if you like, subscribe, and hit that bell. I mean, come on. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one, which I already told you what that is. So I hope it's actually recording this time. This is my second time recording this video. Oh my goodness, looky there, folks. It is recording.